So in the last class we learned about self-induction and formula for finding the induced EMF in case of self-induction. It was minus L dI by dt, where E is induced EMF in the coil, L is self-inductance or coefficient of dI by dt is rate of change of current. Rate of change of current. Clear? So also we have defined self-inductance, right? When dI by dt is equal to 1 ampere per second, E will be numerically equal to L. So self-inductance can be defined, or self-inductance will be numerically equal to induced EMF when rate of change of current is 1 ampere per second. Clear? Now, what is the unit of self-inductance? Unit of self-inductance is Henry. It's Henry, denoted by a letter H. Clear? Resistance SI unit is ohm. Inductance SI unit is Henry. Clear? Now, the next question is to derive an expression for self-inductance in case of a solenoid. We have to derive an expression for self-inductance in case of a solenoid. What will be the magnetic flux linked with a solenoid having one turn? It will be phi B is equal to B vector dot A vector. In case of one turn, the angle theta will be 0 because B vector will be parallel to A vector. Therefore, theta is 0. This we have done in case of solenoid in chapter moving charges and magnetic field. So theta is 0. So B vector dot A vector expansion is BA cos theta. So BA cos 0 degree. So it becomes BA. Cos 0 is 1. So phi B or magnetic flux associated with one coil of solenoid is BA. Then what will be the magnetic flux associated with n number of turns? Capital N number of turns. If your solenoid has n number of turns, what will be the flux? B A N. If for one turn magnetic flux is BA, for n number of turns it is BAN. So magnetic flux associated with a solenoid having n number of turns is BAN. Clear? What is the magnetic field inside a solenoid? What is the magnetic field inside a solenoid that we have derived in moving charges and magnetism? It was mu 0 N. It was mu 0. This is equation number 1. This is equation number 2. Substituting 2 in 1, we have phi B is equal to mu 0 NIAN. Right? Now what about magnetic flux? In case of solenoid, we know that there is self-induction. Right? Self-inductance L in case of solenoid, because this is an inductor. This is a single coil. It has inductance. What was phi in case of self-induction? It was Li. So substituting phi is equal to Li, we have Li is equal to mu 0 NIAN. I and I gets cancelled. So L is equal to mu naught. Instead of n, what is this small n? This is number of turns per unit length. So substituting n by L into A into n. So we get L is equal to mu 0, n into n is n square. A by L. So this is the expression for self-inductance in case of a solenoid. So in order to derive the expression for self-inductance in case of a solenoid, we have to find the magnetic flux associated with a solenoid. We know that for one turn it's BA. So for n turns it will be BAN. So for n turns of a solenoid, magnetic flux is BAN, which is our first equation. And we know about the magnetic field of a solenoid. It's mu 0 Ni. On substituting the value of magnetic field in equation number 1, we have phi B is equal to mu naught Ni An. And then we know we know that what is the magnetic flux associated with a coil or solenoid? It's Li from self-induction, right? So Li is equal to mu 0 NIAM. I and I gets cancelled, and substituting the value of number of turns per unit length. In place of small n, we can substitute capital N by L, number of turns per unit length. So small n becomes N by L, and hence we get L is equal to mu 0 N square AL. Clear? Or else you can derive, or else you can write like this. What can you give in place of capital N? From here, what can you give for capital N? Capital N is small n into L, right? So from here, you can either write like this, mu 0 small n I A, in place of capital N you can substitute small n L. So it becomes mu naught n square, there was no I, right? I was cancelled on both sides. So it becomes mu 0 n into n, n square A L. So if you want to derive in terms of small n only, the equation will be mu naught n square A L. If you want to derive it in terms of capital N, it will be mu 0 n square A by L. It depends upon the question being asked in your exam. Clear? So this is how you derive self-inductance of a solenoid. Clear? Okay, note it down. So in this question, we have a coil whose self-inductance is 2 Henry, and the rate of change of current is 4 ampere per second. We have to find the induced EMF. So the induced EMF will be minus L di by dt. Since we have to find the magnitude of EMF, we will get L into di by dt. The value of L is 4 into di by dt is, sorry, the value of L is 2 and value of di by dt is 4. So in turn you get 8 volt as induced EMF. So the induced EMF in this coil is 8 volt. Clear? Now let's go to mutual induction. We said that in case of self-induction we have only one coil. But here in the diagram you can see two coils, right? Whenever you see two coils, you get the idea that this is mutual induction. Clear? So here you have two coils. The first coil will be called your primary coil and the second coil will be called your secondary coil. So there are two coils in case of mutual induction. The first one is primary coil and the second one is secondary. The primary coil always has a source, a AC source, alternating current source. You identify the secondary coil by the presence of a galvanometer in that coil. You can see a galvanometer in the secondary coil. In the primary coil you can see a AC source which will provide alternating current in this coil. Clear? So what is really mutual induction? So mutual induction is nothing but in the neighboring coil. See, here only AC source is there. There is no source of current in this coil. But even then you can find deflection in this coil. In the primary coil you can see a AC source. So therefore you know well that there will be a current in this coil. But in the secondary coil you can't find a current source or AC source. You have only a galvanometer which is connected to a coil. But even then you can find a deflection in this coil. Why? Because EMF is induced in the coil, in the secondary coil due to the primary coil. And this is what is called mutual induction. In the secondary coil you can find current, the presence of current by deflection shown in the galvanometer. Even though there is no AC source, no current source in this coil, you can see a deflection in the coil. Why? Because of this primary coil. The neighboring coil gets EMF, induced EMF or induced current. This is what is called mutual induction. So it is said like this: if the current in the primary coil I am increasing or I am changing, imagine. Since this is AC current, definitely the current through this coil will change simultaneously. Because this is not direct current but alternating current. The magnitude of current keeps on changing. So what happens is that in the primary coil, if current is changed, if current is increasing or decreasing, what will happen? This coil will generate magnetic field, right? Since this is carrying a current, it will produce magnetic field around it. And this magnetic field also enters which coil? The secondary coil. It also enters the secondary coil. It also enters the secondary coil. Or this magnetic field is available to the secondary coil also. Whenever the current in the primary coil changes, magnetic field is produced in the primary coil, which is even available to the secondary coil. So current in the primary coil changes, then it generates magnetic field. It generates magnetic field. And these magnetic field lines passes through the secondary coil also. If current changes, magnetic field produced by the primary coil also changes. The number of magnetic field lines entering the secondary coil also changes. So that means the magnetic flux linked with the secondary coil is changing. If magnetic flux is changing, an EMF will be induced in this secondary coil, and hence you get an induced current, and hence you will get a deflection in the. This is what is mutual induction. This is what is mutual induction. So when current in the primary coil is changed, it generates magnetic field which changes. When the primary coil is generating a magnetic field or magnetic field lines, it is also available to the secondary coil. So we were talking about mutual induction. We said that if imagine there is a current through the primary coil, if there is a current in the coil, you know that it will generate a magnetic field. A current carrying conductor always produces magnetic field around it. So in the primary coil, if a current is flowing through this coil, if imagine there is a current flowing through this coil, it's definite that it will generate a magnetic field. And hence the magnetic field lines also passes through the secondary coil also. Imagine this current is changing continuously. If the current through this coil is changing continuously, what will happen? The magnetic field it is generating will also change. And hence the magnetic field lines, the number of magnetic field lines also will change. So the magnetic field lines available to the secondary will change constantly. Or we say that the magnetic flux linked with the secondary coil due to the primary coil is changing continuously. So if magnetic flux is changing, an EMF will be induced in this coil. And hence an induced current will be there, which will be shown in the galvanometer by its deflection. And hence you can detect the presence of current in the secondary coil. This is called mutual induction. Clear? So current in the coil, primary coil, it generates magnetic field and field lines passes through the secondary coil. If I changes, current through the primary coil changes. Phi B, magnetic flux through the secondary coil also changes. Then an EMF is induced in the secondary coil, and hence an induced current in the secondary coil. Thus galvanometer shows deflection. Thus galvanometer shows this is what is mutual induction. This coil is inducing EMF in the neighboring coil. Clear? This coil, the primary coil, is inducing an EMF in the secondary coil. So in mutual induction always there will be two coils. One coil will be called your primary coil and the other coil will be called your secondary coil. Is it clear? So also, if I ask you, if I am increasing the current through the primary coil, if I am increasing, I can either increase or decrease the current through the primary coil. If I am increasing the current through the primary coil, can I say there will be more magnetic field generated in the primary coil? Can I say there is more magnetic field generated in the primary coil? If I am increasing the current through the primary coil, can I say there will be more magnetic field in the primary coil? So more magnetic field will be available to the more magnetic field lines will be available to the magnetic flux will increase generally, right? So more will be the magnetic field, more will be the magnetic field lines passing through the secondary coil, more will be the magnetic flux through the So if greater the current in the primary coil, or if you are increasing the current in the primary coil, more magnetic field will be available to the more magnetic field lines will pass through the more magnetic flux will pass through the Is it clear? So more induced EMF will be there in the so more induced current you get in the That's it. This is what is mutual induction. So whenever the magnetic flux linked with secondary coil changes, an EMF is induced in the secondary coil due to the primary coil, and this is what is called. Is it clear? So can I say the magnetic flux in the second coil, the magnetic flux in the that is what is phi 2, magnetic flux in the second coil is directly proportional to I1. Directly proportional to I1 will be the current in the primary coil. If I am increasing I1, if I am increasing the amount of current in the primary coil, can I say more magnetic flux will be there in the secondary coil? Yes. So phi 2 is proportional to I1. So if you are increasing the amount of current in the primary coil, more magnetic field will be available to the secondary coil. So more magnetic flux will be available to the secondary coil. Therefore, phi 2 also increases. So phi 2 is proportional to I1. What is phi 2? Magnetic flux through the secondary coil. And what is I1? Current through the primary coil. So can I write phi 2 is equal to, since this is mutual induction, there will be mutual inductance M. You can't write L. L can be only written when it is self-induction. Since this is mutual induction, there will be mutual inductance. There will be mutual inductance. So you will use the letter M. So M will be your constant in mutual induction. So you will write M I1. What will you write? M I1. So this is phi 2. This is phi 2. So by Lenz's law, what can you write? By Lenz's law, induced EMF in the secondary coil. Induced EMF in the secondary coil is equal to minus d phi 2, not d phi 1, d phi 2 by dt. Am I right? So can I write like this? Minus d by dt. What is phi 2? M into I1. Phi 2 is M into I1. So you can write M into I1. Is M a constant? Yes. Yes, mutual inductance. So it can be taken out of the differential. So the equation will be minus M d I1 by dt. So this is what is E2, EMF in the secondary coil. So the induced EMF in the secondary coil is minus M di1 by dt, or rate of change of current in the primary coil. Rate of change of current in the primary coil. So can I define M? Can I define mutual inductance? Since I have got I2 is equal to minus M di1 by dt, I have to make di1 by dt equal to 1 ampere per second. So I will get E2 is equal to M. Clear? So mutual inductance can be defined, or mutual inductance will be numerically equal to the induced EMF in the secondary coil when rate of change of current in the primary coil is 1 ampere per second. This is how you have to define. Since E2 is EMF in the secondary coil, which is equal to minus M di1 by dt. I1 is the current in the primary coil, right? So you have to make di1 by dt unity. So di1 by dt is equal to 1 ampere per second. So M becomes equal to E2 numerically. So you can say mutual inductance is defined as the induced EMF in the secondary coil when rate of change of current in the primary coil is 1 ampere per second. This is the definition of mutual inductance. Is it clear? So whenever the current in the primary coil changes, the magnetic flux linked with the secondary coil changes. And an EMF is induced in the, an induced current is produced in the, this is what is called clear? Okay, note it down. So in the first question is like a pair of adjacent coils have a mutual induction. So this is a question from mutual induction. A pair of adjacent coils has a mutual induction of 1.5 Henry. So they have given you the mutual induction M. M is 1.5 Henry. Given on it. This is the given. And then if the current in one coil changes from 0 to 20 ampere. So the rate of change, the change in current is 20 minus 0. It is 20 ampere. This is the change in current, di. Because the final current is 20 and the initial current was 0. So change in current becomes 20 minus 0, it's 20. So 20 ampere is your change in current. That is di in 0.5 second. So they have given you dt also. dt is 0.5 second. And what you have to find, what is the change in flux? What is the change in flux with the other? And then what is the EMF induced in the other? How will you find the change in flux? How will you find phi from here? Tell me. Phi, that is E is equal to, phi is equal to Mi, right? Phi is equal to Mi. Or you can write d phi is equal to M into di. So d d phi is what is change in flux, right? So change in flux is d phi, which you will get by taking the product of mutual induction and change in current. Mutual induction is 1.5 into change in current is 20. So you will get 30 Weber. You will get 30 Weber as d phi. And the second part is what is the EMF induced in the other. So for finding induced EMF in case of mutual induction, we have formula minus M d I by dt, right? From here we have to find induced EMF. So we have to only find the magnitude, so you don't have to write the negative sign. So M is 1.5, right? Into what is di? Di is 20 by what is dt? 0.5, right? You will get 4 volts. Sorry, it will be so 200 by 5, 40. So 1.5 into 4, it will be 60. So 60 volt will be your answer. So the induced EMF will be 60 volt. So this is how you find the EMF induced in the coil. The second question is current in a circuit falls from 5 ampere to 0 ampere. So change in current is given. It is 5 ampere. Am I right? Change in current 5 ampere in 0.1 second. So dt is given, which is 0.1 second. dt is 0.1 second. Define EMF of 200 volt. So EMF is given, which is 200 volt, is induced in the circuit. Determine self-inductance. So you have to determine self-inductance L. You have the formula for EMF in case of self-induction. It is minus L di by dt, right? So you have to find L, right? Multiply dt with E. So E multiplied by dt divided by di will give you L. Am I right? EMF is 200, right? dt is 0.1 divided by di is 5. This will be your mutual. This will be your self-inductance L, right? So you will get 5, 24, 40, 4 Henry. 4 Henry will be your self-inductance, right? Clear? Because 40 multiplied by 0.1, it will be 4. So 4 Henry is your self-inductance L. What is the third question? The self-inductance of a coil is 4 millihenry. So they have given you the self-inductance, which is L, which is 4 millihenry. 4 millihenry, which is 4 into 10 to the power minus 3 Henry, right? Milli is 10 raised to minus 3. You have to convert it into SI units. So 4 into 10 to the power minus 3 Henry. If a current of 1 ampere, right? 1 ampere is switched off in time 1 millisecond. Okay. So they have given you current. Current is 1 ampere, and what is the time? dt is 1 millisecond. So 1 millisecond when converted to second, it becomes 10 to the power minus 3 second, right? 1 milli means 10 to the power minus 3. So what is the induced EMF? So you have to find the induced EMF. This is self-induction, right? So E is minus L di by dt. Minus you don't have to look because you have to find the magnitude of EMF. So E is equal to L is 4 into 10 to the power minus 3 into di. Di is 1 by dt is 10 to the power minus 3, right? 10 to the power minus 3 and 10 to the power minus 3 gets cancelled. You will get the answer 4 volt. 4 volt is the induced EMF in the coil. Is it clear? Do it. Next, so the next point that you have to note is that we have to derive a relation between. See, we have to derive a relation between self-inductance and mutual inductance. Mutual inductance for a pair of coils. For a pair of coils. Imagine we have a pair of coils. the first coil has self-inductance L1, the second coil has self-inductance L2. If so, the mutual inductance will be directly proportional to under root L1 L2. This is the relationship between mutual inductance and self-inductance. If you have two coils, imagine you have two coils, then there is mutual induction, right? And that mutual induction can be related to self-inductances of the both coils. The first coil has self-inductance L1, the second coil has self-inductance L2. If so, the product of L1 L2 under root product of L1 L2 will be directly proportional to M. What is M? Mutual inductance. So in the next step you can write M is equal to, you can multiply a constant which is K into under root L1 L2. This is the relationship between M and L, that is self-inductance and mutual inductance for a pair of coils, where K is called coupling constant, which is called K. Now for tight coupling, K is equal to 1, and for loose coupling, K is less than 1. Now the question is, what is tight coupling, what is loose coupling? If the primary coil is wounded very tightly, very closely, and also the secondary coil is wounded very closely to each other, then the total flux of the primary will be available to the secondary. If the coil is closely wounded, very closely wounded or tightly wounded, then the complete flux of primary will be available to the secondary. This is what is called tight coupling. If you are winding the coil in just a normal manner, in a loose manner, then we will call it loose coupling. Clear? But if you are winding the coils very tightly or very closely to each other in the primary and secondary coil, we call such kind of coupling tight coupling. This is what is called tight coupling. In tight coupling, the complete flux of the primary will be available to the secondary. And for tight coupling, K is equal to 1. And for loose coupling, K is less than 1. Clear? So the relationship between M and L, or self-inductance and mutual inductance for a pair of coil, is M is equal to K under root L1 L2. Under root L1. So imagine I have a coil, I have a pair of coils of which the self-inductance of the first coil is 4 Henry and L2 is again 4 Henry. L1 and L2 have the same self-inductance 4 Henry each, and the coupling is tight coupling. Tell me what will be the mutual inductance then? It will be K under root L1 L2. What will be K? 1, since it is tight coupling, and under root L1 is 4, again L2 is 4. Root 16 is 4 Henry. So 4 Henry will be your mutual inductance. Clear? Is it clear? So this is how you find mutual inductance when self-inductances of the coils are given. So if you have self-inductances, you can find mutual inductance. So this is a relationship between mutual inductance and self-inductance. And you understand what is tight coupling. Is it clear? So tight coupling is nothing but you are winding the primary and secondary coil very closely to each other. Clear? If so, the complete flux linked with the primary coil will be available to the secondary coil. If the coupling is not tight, then the complete flux will not be available to the secondary coil. Only a part of the flux will be available to the secondary coil if it is loose coupling. But if it is tight coupling, then the complete flux of the primary coil will be available to the secondary coil. This is what is the difference between tight coupling and loose coupling. And for tight coupling, the coupling constant is 1. For loose coupling, coupling constant will be less than 1. Clear? Okay, note it down.